What a way to start. Well, that contact's going to dry up, so we're not going any further. What a way to start. So, hope you guys are doing well. We are live from Eagle, Idaho, talking about the state of the market and all things that are Boise. So, if you can hear me, see me, if you can do any of that, give me a thumbs up or give me a comment that gives me some sort of notification that you are here and you are wanting to hear about all things Boise and all things real estate. So, I am Brian Hymas, born and raised in the Boise Valley. Absolutely love this place. I know you guys, most of you know who I am. If we haven't met, I look forward to get to know you more. I do this every third Tuesday of the month. And I also put out videos about different cities in Boise, right? So there's Boise, there's Meridian, there's Eagle, there's Star, there's Kuna, Garden City, Eagle, Meridian, Nampa, Caldwell, and Middleton. So those are all the cities. I think I repeated a couple, but that's everything in the Treasure Valley. Where I live is Eagle, Eagle, Star, North, Meridian. That's where I eat, sleep, drink, go to church, kids go to school, all that type of stuff. So that's the home base. But I was born and raised in Southwest Boise, which is South Meridian. I've sold everywhere. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Candace. Thank you, Jennifer. So we have all that encompassing region where the Treasure Valley is. So if you aren't familiar with the Treasure Valley is both Ada and Canyon County. And then we are talking about all things Ada and Canyon County, particularly focusing on the things that the path that I travel the most. And that's really the heart is Eagle. But I'm happy to help, obviously, with whatever. But that is clearly where my roots are. So invite you to subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribe, hit that bell. If you hit the bell, what it does for you is it helps you receive notifications when those videos are released so you don't miss out. And who wants to miss out? No one. So make yourself part of the clan. I think there's 1,600 of us now. So 1.62 thousand is what I just saw before hopping on here. So as a decent community, we're building something that's fun. Mostly building this thing off of people who are trying to escape, wherever, if it's California or wherever they're from. I've heard all sorts of fun things, but I welcome all sorts of political parties, obviously. But there is a common thread in most people trying to come to Boise, and that is they're seeking a conservative life. And so if that's you, if you consider yourself a political refugee, that's really who I see and talk to every day. I have people showing up tomorrow morning. That's what they're, what happened 2 years ago has brought a lot of good things, a lot of changes in technology that help our lives. And one of them is the ability to work from home. And some people who are not going back to the office. And when you're able to do that, you're able to keep your salary and move to Idaho. Idaho's prices have leveled out, obviously, a little bit. And they're not what they used to be 3 years ago, but they still are. It still is conservative America. And so if you are seeking that, that is something we'd love to have. And so we'd love to have you. So if you have any questions, please, perfect timing. If you have any questions, tell us, one, where you're commenting from. Would love to hear that. And then two, if you have any questions about the market, especially with the last month, since we did this last, the average rate on a home loan is up almost 1.5 points. In other words, almost a 1.5% on a $500,000 loan. That's about $7,500 per year on your mortgage of more interest. So that is a huge deal. There's the 1%, 10% rule in lending, and it's not 100% accurate, but it gives you a good idea. If you have a bump in the interest rate and you go up 1%, that decreases your purchasing power by 10%. So if you have $7,500 extra a month, $7,500 extra a year, you've got to pay in mortgage. That's where your purchasing power goes down. If you're buying with all cash, which 30% of all home buyers are, that takes a different. Cash is king, and it can help you have more purchasing power at the table. Candace, Giants, Eagle, Idaho, neighbor and friend. They have bought and sold. They've bought with us. They are selling soon and buying soon and moving neighboring. Say welcome. Thank you for your support. You guys rock. Jennifer and Jeff, thank you for being on as well. And if anyone has any comments, please, or questions about the market, please dive into that with your question. I will see that. I can see it on the right side of my screen, so I will dive into all those things. I want to talk a little bit about the market because some people say it's softening. Some people say it's still on the rise. What do you think is happening? Is the market softening, or is it still just going like this? Let's see some comments. Let's see people in there. That's what energizes me, helps me get this thing a little lively. So if you have any guesses on how you feel the market is, put that comment in there. and I will give a little drum roll, and I'll talk about the market there. So let me tell you a little story. People say, Jeff, welcome from Chino. People say the market is softening. I hear that over and over and over. And I asked them, why are you saying this? Like what is driving your comments? And I have a theory, and I don't know if it's the correct theory, but to me, people are on there looking at these, the MLS feed or Zillow or Realtor, and they're seeing the same home over and over again. Why? The homes that are hot, the homes that are 5-star homes, the homes that don't need any repairs, that aren't next to any major roads, that are updated, that have the square footage, that a hot thing right now is at least 4 bedrooms or three in an office because of that person working from home. Those types of homes that are just, some people call them cream puffs, some people call them 5-star homes. Those types of homes are going with multiple offers. Here's a true story. I have a client who is actually coming into town tomorrow. I've mentioned them before. We made an offer on a house in South Boise, 1970s home, listed just barely over $450. We offered $525, and we lost out by what the listing realtor says is a sizable comparison between our offer and theirs. So their money they gave was way more than $525. So I'm going to guess $550. I could be wrong. I'm going to guess $550. So it's $90,000 over asking. And not only that, these people that were over asking, they brought, no, that's the end of that. So, that offer was that, but guess how many other offers there were? We were one of 18 offers, last I heard 24 hours ago, on this property. They told us yesterday we were top 5. So since I heard we were top 5, I had not heard an updated number. There probably were more offers that came in. So I think at the end of round 1, so to speak, we were up there in terms of price. I think what they did is went back and got more money. That's not typical how it works. It's usually bring your highest and best, and that's kind of the end. The agent was new. That's how they handled it. And those who want the house agree to play by those rules. So that was the rules they played by. That was the rules they posted. Those are the rules we play by. So anyway, 18 offers, and over, at least at the very, very minimum, it was $65,000 over asking at the very least. So is the market softening? Again, that's a home that's less than the median price point. It really depends on which part of the market you're talking about. We like to clump all the market in one and say, oh yeah, the market is blank. I get asked all the time. The number one question I get asked, and you guys can probably guess from talking about this or asking your favorite realtor, is how is the market? And the answer to that really comes down to which part of the market are you talking about? Because we can be talking about Eagle, whose median price in the last 30 days, if I'm not mistaken, median sold price in the last 30 days is $884.5. Or we can talk about the whole Treasure Valley, the whole Ada County as a whole, which is $575. So the median price point is about $300,000 difference between Eagle, which is a part of Ada County, and Ada County as a whole, which takes in that Eagle to bring that price up to $575. If you have a home that's listed below median price, those homes, almost irregardless of condition, are going to be hot if they're priced right. You can't price a home $100,000 over just because you want to get $450 on it if it's only worth $350. You can't. The buyers are the smartest when it comes to pricing. Sellers like to think they know their pricing more because they built so many good memories in that house and it served them well and it had so much utility. But remember, a buyer is looking at hundreds of homes. When they see your home and it's priced wrong, it just feels off to them. It's like feeling that counterfeit dollar bill. You can feel it, you can see it, you can touch it, you can smell it, and it just is not the same. So if you have something that's listed for, let's say, 1.2 and it should be listed for 1, the buyer is very keen on that, and they know when to call a fake. They don't even a phony, and they don't even want to go see that. And so you've got to price it right for them to come see it. And that's part of the strategy we have, is making sure the homes are priced right and making sure that we understand the market for different market segments, which is the point. So we can break the market into, thanks guys, Sean and Jeff. Sean, thanks for chiming in from Fort Collins, Jeff from Chino. When we talk about which part, if the market's softening, we need to be asking ourselves, which part of the market are we talking about? Are we talking about starter homes, 3 beds, 2 baths? Are we talking about $1 million estates? Are we talking about 2 million, 5 acres in Eagle? What are we talking about? And we can talk about how the market is in that sector. Because yes, there are less homes listed in the last 30 days, And along with that, there are more homes that are for sale than 30 days ago. So let's dive into some of the stats. Actually, let's read comments from Sean Wilford. Thank you for chiming in from Fort Collins. The $75,000, $100,000 over asking is happening here too. Are comps just unable to catch up? Are they appraising at these sales prices, or are buyers paying the appraisal gaps? Great question, Sean. Sean, it sounds like you've done this, Joel, before, or you might be a realtor. Sean, I have I'd love to hear, Sean, more about your background. It sounds like you've are speaking realtor speak a little bit. The $75,000 to $100,000 actually is not. That's a story that I would say is more of the extreme than it is the rule. I have seen most. I just made an offer on a house a week ago with a client. We offered $100 over asking, and the only thing we couldn't come to terms with was when the earnest money would become hard. We were the only offer on the house. We didn't want to make the earnest money become hard. They had actually just lost that earnest money on the previous house, and so they did not want to get burned again on that. And the seller said, we only do hard earnest money, which is funny because the house is still active. So, and that house is priced well. It was in a good neighborhood, priced at $780 in North Meridian, 2,700 square feet for those who know the market here. It was really good. In fact, I don't want to say where it's at because I don't want to say anything that would be derogatory towards anyone else. Bought a few houses and not a realtor. So Sean, real quick, the people I believe there's a certain way I do my realtor business, and they are the Group Inc. out of Fort Collins, and they have a system they've named and they've sold to us realtors. And I have a book that's free. They have systems that are free, and so Fort Collins plays a part in my everyday real estate here. So, Sean, you moving to Boise, or are you just chiming in just because you have an interest in Boise? Jeff says, I think folks are trying to get it in fast before the interest rates rise more, therefore more competitive bids, and that definitely could be, Jeff. Uncertainty and fear is the people make decisions for one reason and one reason only, because they feel like that. And when you play with those emotions for fear or for pleasure, that's going to make your buyer make one decision or another. That's the only reason people buy something, fear or pleasure. And so it's taking them to one of those two things. It's got to solve a problem, and it's going to solve a problem based on fear or solve a problem based on pleasure. So that is what that's going off of. So if it's based off interest rates, the fear of them rising more, I actually next month on our live Q&A, we're gonna have one of the lenders I use. His name is Braden. He's from Fulcrum Home Loans. He's gonna be on here to talk about the state of the market as he sees it, and so that'll be fun to have that guest. He was actually gonna be here tonight. It was a little short notice. We tried to organize it Thursday. We decided to push it out of more channels and kind of prep for a little bit more. But he would have gladly been able to speak to that market and what he's seeing. I know the overall numbers have decreased. I talked to one of Idaho's largest home builders. It's Hubble Homes. I just like to talk to the home builders because they will tell us all things, when it comes to the state of the market. They see hundreds, if not thousands of people come through that revolving door every day, right? Okay, every week with that type of number. And I asked her, I said, hey, how are things? Just like to get the pulse. And she said, we're seeing the same amount of sales, but no more tire kickers. And that is a home builder who hits a lower price point. 2,700 square foot home for, $550,000, $600,000 in Nampa and Caldwell. So that's that type of home builder, and they build a good home, just a basic home. But that kind of gives you an idea. Thank you for tuning in. I Hope Hills International Ministry. I think it's Rick. I hope so, because you told me last time. Bob, it's Bob. Okay, thanks for putting your name, Bob. Sean Wilford, that's awesome. The group is great, and who I use here. Isn't that something? We have been considering moving out to Idaho for a while now. Well, isn't that something, Sean? I'm happy to hear that. The group is like, everything they preach is what I try to do. So if you're familiar with the group, that's what I try to do. They have that book right there called Ninja Selling. It's all about, Sean, you can attest, it's all about being a good human, serving people, giving them what they want. And if you provide enough value, they're going to want to use you because they want that service. It's not about selling; it's about serving, and that's what we're doing. I mean, just look at this. This is something that provides sales, right? For me, doing something like this, but this is really to reach out to the community and provide a service for you guys. And I also enjoy it. I also get enthused by your guys' comments. Without the comments, this is kind of lame. So I really like the comments. While that flashes up on your screen, if you are moving to the Boise Valley, Sean, if you're moving to the Boise Valley, anyone else, my email, brian@brianhymas.com, or my phone, email or text, text or call 208-213-2092. I would be happy to help you make Boise your home. And if you're moving out of Colorado and use the group, that's awesome. If you're coming out of anywhere else, let me know. There are a few of us ninjas around the nation, quite a few, and we love to make sure our clients are using other ninjas or people from the group. So Jen Pagan, I'm so bummed, feeling like we will miss the market in Eagle, and even Northwest Meridian prices are going high too fast. I know it is actually there's a part of that where it is sad. Jen, do you guys own a home right now? Because one of the ways to protect yourself from the market moving away from you is to own, and if you own, then theoretically, now not every market's the same, but if you own, then you can be receiving an increase in equity as our homes are going up in equity. Now, our rates are going up a little bit more based on we were lower to start with. So we're kind of doing this number, right? And so if you do have a little equity, that helps get you into the home you want. I've seen that many times. The one thing there's a couple things I don't like about this inflation, and whether it's supply and demand plus inflation. You're in LA, yes, and we're in LA. Cool. What part of LA? We go down to LA. I think I've said on this channel before. We go down to Rancho Fontana area once or twice a year. My sister-in-law and brother-in-law live out there and treat us well. Have a pickleball court and pool and basketball court, and we just kind of hang out at our own cousin resort. So, if you have a home in there, you can sell and you can still get kind of capitalize on the equity. Obviously, everyone's situation is different, but really, who's losing what I was going at before was, what was I gonna say? The first-time home buyers. And it really is sad. The first-time home buyers are really those who are really the market's getting away from. I mean, look at myself. When I was a second home, and we got our house for $300,000-ish. That was all we wanted to pay, and it had had money coming in. That was good money, not out of this world. It was great. Was very comfortable, and we provided. And I just didn't feel any comfortable going higher. We were proof much more. I didn't feel any comfortable going more than $300,000. So the first-time home buyers, I truly feel for. While at the same time, we got somebody into a $375,000 home a couple months ago, and it was rewarding to see the joy on their face because it was everything they'd hoped for. And so it is a matter of perspective and just knowing, you know what, you can't turn back the time. You can't change that. So I don't know if I like the saying it is what it is, but I do know it's all about the perspective you have with the hand you're dealt. Yes. Bob, let's talk about the quote unquote recession. So there are two types of recessions: stock market and housing. And there are probably more. There's probably more. Braden is going to dive into this exact topic in a month. But there are two types of recessions. And is there one coming? One, does anyone know the future? Two, and if you're watching the charts and graphs, there's a few things that say that we might be heading into recession. That is a stock market. That's the market. When you look at the supply and demand of Boise, let's say the recession's here, but when you look at the supply and demand of Boise's homes, we still have over demand and a low supply of homes here in the Boise Valley. And they say if we continue building at this rate, it's going to be another 60 years where we can't even serve the demand that we have in this valley. So what's going to happen in Boise? I feel blessed to be in Boise because I do feel like we're protected here a little bit. If I was living in LA, if I was living in, there's a place people are fleeing from. I mean, I get people fleeing from Seattle and LA, but I also know those markets are hot, so I can't really speak from experience there. But I'm just glad our supply and demand is such that we are underserving our demand. And people will complain about, the home building that's going out and how much growth there is here. But there's only one way to get on top of all the demand, and that is to build. We have to have more homes. We have to have more supply for the people that are coming here. So is there a recession? Let's say there is. Let's say we know there's a recession. Do we know there's going to be a housing recession in Boise? I think that question is honestly up for debate. I think you could probably find yourselves on both sides of that debate, arguing successfully that you know it's going to happen. Let me know if that buyer's ability to put down a down payment. Yeah, very well could. Very well could. There are so many loan programs where a down payment might not be. I mean, I got into my house by writing a $500 check. I got people into a house a month ago, and they got $1,800 back at closing. The myth of having 20% down is a myth. You can pay mortgage insurance. You can have 5% down, 3% down, 0% down, 20% down, all cash. You can do a lot of things. And so I think there's ways to be creative with that. Can it drive the prices down? Yes, it certainly can. But I don't want to preach doom and gloom. One, I don't think it's good. Two, I don't think it's accurate because we don't know. All I can say is how my phone is with serving a lot of you out-of-staters, and that is that the market is, my phone is still ringing and people are still moving here from out of state. And that is all I know in terms of, I can look at graphs and charts and say, well, the 10-year notes are more expensive than the 15-year notes. I can say that the inflation is above 4% and employment is below 4%. We can look at all these graphs and people can say, oh, in the past, this is what happened. Possibly true. Possibly true. I will, if we were so smart on knowing when recessions were coming, though, wouldn't we be able to curb that a little bit? In other words, like 2008, when there was a housing and a stock market crash, those two things, I mean, looking back, we had all the same numbers. Then people can say, oh, that's why they happened because of this. There's so many other factors at play. And I think supply and demand on Boise and conservative America is something to have a conversation with. And no news outlet's going to talk about that. No one. No one. Let's go to we're in a terrible area called Gardena. I know when you sell high, you buy high, but still, yeah. And there's something to that mathematically, Jen. You know, if let's say you bought your house for $200,000, it's up 5x. That's $1 million, right? But the person who bought their house in Boise for $200,000, their house is up. Let's say it's up. The market went up 6x. So you're selling high and buying high, but there's some added cost. Now take a better example. If you have a $500,000 home in the market 3x's and a $300,000 home 3x's, what was a $200,000 gap is now a $600,000 gap, which is a 3x difference in that price as well. So that gap is 3x as well, which plays out to be for the negative. So I hear you. Let's have a chat though. If you're thinking about Idaho, there's options. There definitely are options, and depending on your price point. And if there's not an option, might be worth exploring or just looking at homes together. Which brings me to let's take a little break. So there are subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss out on any content putting out some things. I'm actually in the middle of revamping my channel. I'm doing a whole new series on videos. It starts in about 10 days of filming and writing. So that's going to come out probably like a month or so. We're going to see a different YouTube channel. I'm going to be redoing some videos. If you guys have watched my videos, there's some videos where I've got some data on there that's about 2 years old, and the prices are 2 years old. So it needs to be redone. So some of that stuff's going to be redone. So hit that subscribe button and the bell, and we can help you there. Also 208-213-2092 or my email, brian@brianhymus.com. Those are the 2 ways to reach me, and we'll put you in the easy 1, 2, 3 buying process, which starts off with a Zoom call, and where we talk about the Boise Valley, we talk about your wants and needs, we talk about what's in your way, we talk about strategies to get you what you want. And a lot of people I've found want to know how to eat the whole elephant, and it really is one bite at a time. It might be a conversation. I've gone out to lunch with people a year ago. I haven't seen. They usually watch these lives. This couple in particular, I've gone out with plenty of people a year ago, but these guys are gonna pull through on a house this year, and it's a process, and I get that, and they're okay with that too. So if you're just like, hey, I have some questions, let's talk, let's chat, let's see what we can answer, because then we get you on the 1, 2, 3 easy buying process, which would be that Zoom call, a visit to Boise, and buying a home. And it really is. I have found it to be very concise. The process is very comforting for you guys because you guys know it works. I mean, this is the same process I run people through. and it really, really does work. You have us on a search now. Good. I'm glad. We're hoping, I just looked in the light, so my eyes are hard. We're hoping by the time we sell, hopefully in June, we can still afford entry level in Eagle. Jen, you must know the Boise Valley in order to know that you like Eagle. So there's other good cities. I live in Eagle. I love Eagle. We put an offer in a house in Nampa. There's other good areas. There really are. I wouldn't trade my house for anything. Well, I guess I would because I tried to get the house. But don't count out other areas. Nampa, there's places in Nampa. I just put out a video, 6 worst places to live in Idaho. I got somebody saying, "Oh, I got offended because you talked poorly about Nampa." I'm like, I put an offer in on a house in Nampa. Please don't take offense. That there are good things and bad things about every town. I would say even Eagle has a part. It's not dangerous. It's just a part that looks a little more trashy because it's not all. Everything's not what it seems to be, right? I mean, would I live in 9 parts in Caldwell over the 9 parts in Eagle? No, Eagle overall is better, plain and simple. But just don't count anything out because it doesn't have Eagle on the end of it. It's a good place. There's others. North Meridian's a little cheaper. Star's cheaper too. Star's awesome. I basically live in Star. I mean, right here, you can see this road right here. Another mile of those cars going that way. Whoops, that way is Star. So it's basically one and the same. Did you see the real estate article I shared with you? I did not. If you sent it to my email, I did not see it. I don't think so anyway. Send it again. I'm not sure. How do city services compare between Boise, Meridian, and Eagle? Example, streets, water, police, fire, parks, and rec. Are you comparing price or are you talking about the quality of service? I would say Meridian and Eagle, very similar in terms of service. Boise, for the most part, very similar. I mean, really, if you've been here to the Valley, there are so many good parts, and it feels clean where a lot of places you go. It feels safe where a lot of places you go. But if you're comparing prices, there's a small gap in terms of pricing between different cities. Eagle has some lower property value taxes, apparently. But when you compare Boise to Eagle and Meridian, really, really similar. When you compare Ada County to Canyon County, different. Ada's cheaper. Quality. Yeah, I mean, streets, water, same. Police. There's obviously more crime in a bigger city, but it's a fairly safe big city. We reached 500,000. I've got some stats here. We reached 500,000 residents according to the U.S. Census for the first time ever in Ada County. So we're at 511,933. And so when you have that big of a city with crime, there will be something to account for there. Is there homelessness in Boise? I get the people talking about how terrible homelessness is in California. There is some, hate to break it to you, but it's not like people staking their claim and it makes walking on sidewalks really hard. What it is just a spot where people live under the bridge. And I think I've talked about this, a friend who's what used to be the temporary acting chief police. And he's basically talked about how they've offered them everything they can. These are people who are choosing that lifestyle in the streets, and it's pretty much tucked away. Good. This is a great stat we're throwing up here. Ada County received almost 14,000 new residents, and Canyon received 10,000 new residents. That's a 46%, and 46% of those 53,000 arrivals. A lot of counties. So except there's one county, there's 44 counties in Idaho. One county is called Clark County. I actually don't know where Clark County is. I think it's up north somewhere. It might be Kellogg's County next to Coeur d'Alene. I'm not sure. But all counties grew by at least 1% in terms of population. And I've talked about something else we have on here. That's due to an ongoing supply and demand imbalance. Boise real estate remains strong. So, all right. Any other questions, guys? Keep those questions coming in. I'm going to talk about some stats while those questions come in. I feel like I'm at the news desk here. Type any questions in the comments section. Of course, if you're coming on here late, my name is Brian Hymas. realtor in the Boise Valley. I've been doing real estate for the last 5 years, born and raised in Boise, an appraiser for a couple. I like to think I know at least 2 cents worth of knowledge on the real estate at Boise. I get something every day that requires research, requires something new. So the experience is there. I joke about it. It's there. But born and raised here, and I hear and a very a conservative guy, and so most people are here, and not all, but that's what keeps me going is helping you guys for that reason. Although helping you guys comes at a cost with all the hate comments. If you guys go through those comments, there's some fun hate comments in those videos. Laughing it off is about the only thing you can do, and give them the benefit of the doubt, probably. Let's talk about Ada County. This Ada County, if you have forgotten, is Eagle, Meridian, Star, Boise, Garden City, and Kuna. There are 477 active homes on the market as of today in Ada County. And of those not of those 477, separately from those 477, there are 778 homes that are under contract in Ada County, or pending, or in escrow. As a lot of Californians say, in escrow. We don't use that term up here. Well, typically, but it's seeping in because of how many California realtors are coming. And we've sold 832 homes in the last 30 days. That's March 18th to April 18th. This data is all in that time period. So a snapshot of active, snapshot of pending, and then the last 30 days for sold. Median days on market has gone to 4, and I've already touched on the median sold price is $575. The lowest price sell in Meridian was $125,000. That was, and then the highest price sell in Meridian in the last 30 days was $4.5 million. Is that ever? Or is that in the last 30 days? I bet you it's in the last 30 days. Sorry, I didn't pull the data myself, so I'm just questioning. Maybe, yeah. Okay, let's go to Eagle. So Eagle's data, when we look at Eagle, there's about 30,000 residents here in Eagle. We have 70 active listings on the market today, 70, and 74 pending listings. In other words, under contract, 74 under contract, and the same number for sold homes in Eagle. Median days on market is 5. A couple months ago, that was about 13. Lowest sell price in Eagle is $475, and the highest price in the last 30 days was $2.075. There are other homes that have sold for more, obviously. So in past days, I think the highest. I mean, there's a couple neighborhoods that are in the 4 or 5s regularly. Just nothing going there. So. I think I already touched on the bank rate. Average, the median price range. Thank you for popping that up. How did I skip over that? $885,000 in the city of Eagle. The bank rate as per U.S. Bank is 5.375. APR would be 5.45, and that is up considerably. That's over a point. That's about a 1.5 difference from a month ago. And from October of 2021, that's a period of 6 months. We are basically doubled. So, in fact, yeah, we're doubled. So it went from about the lowest I ever heard someone get was 2.65 on a 2.65 or 2.75 or 2.625. Anyway, in that range on a 30-year note. So that's quite the difference. I don't see any more questions coming in. Let me know if there's something I haven't covered that you'd like to cover. There are a couple neighborhoods in Eagle that are pretty cool that I just hit my desk this morning. One of them is in a corner of Linder and Floating Feather. The other one is at Floating Feather and Palmer, about a mile apart from each other. Those are bringing in some new homes. Those should be bringing in quite a few homes. So let's see. Oh, Avamore. Avamore is something to speak about. Avamore is part of Eagle. Looking at, some people want Eagle to annex Avamore. Would bring in a ton more residents, 21,000 more residents into Eagle. There's some good and bad to that. You got to make sure you're growing appropriately. So we'll see what happens there. Let's see. Raise your hand if you like these stats. I've got more stats I can go through. I don't know if these are boring for you. If you like them, if you want these notes from some of our research, go ahead and email me, Brian@brianhammers.com. I am happy to just share this with you. And I would there's that email, there's the phone. I would happy to be sharing this email, these stats with you. A lot of this that I do is off the cuff, but there are some concrete facts that we're looking at for this YouTube live. So if you want those notes, I would be happy to share those with you. Brian at brianhammers.com. And let's see, no comments. Maybe you guys have a joke. You want to put a joke in there? If not, I'll talk about some Meridian stats. And Jeff says thumbs up. Connie, is that C Young? Is that Connie? That'd be awesome if that's you, Connie. Connie is one of my favorites. She's one of my top 30 clients this past year. That means I have one non-favorite. I was just trying to lump everyone in there. Sold 31 homes last year as a solo agent. I have people who handle my paperwork and some people who handle some stuff behind the scenes, but a solo agent. In fact, I think I've introduced Gene and Elle. A lot of credit goes to them, like stuff like this, of providing these stats that are popping up across the screen. That's stuff that they can do and help me with. Let's just talk about Meridian real quick. Meridian has 134 active listings and 240 pending. In the last 30 days, they've sold 255 homes. Median price in Meridian is $609 essentially. Median price in Star for the last 30 days is $565, and Boise is $546. And so if you remember that, Meridian is $609, Eagle is $858, or was it $885, and Star was $565. Star is interesting because you can get some months when Star's median price is higher than Meridian's, because you can get some properties out there that are they're just they're massive $1 million homes. And so thank you for that, popping that stat up. So highest price sale in Starwood in the last 30 days was $3.95 million. Highest home price sale in CUNA 1.1. Highest home price sale in Boise was 2.62. So that gets you the highest priced sales in those respective cities. I have stats for Nampa, Middleton, Caldwell. I'll just run through those real quick. Just kind of a median home price. Median in Nampa is $480. Median in Middleton is $568. Middleton, remember, considerably higher because that you can get a lot of acre. You're usually looking at a little bit bigger acreage in Middleton. So while it's cheaper per acre, you'll have people moving out there for that acreage. And then median home price in Caldwell is $408. Median home price is $567 in Middleton. Highest priced home out of those three cities was in Caldwell at 1.8. Next was Middleton at 1.35 and Nampa at 1.3. Yeah, guys, I think that probably wraps it up. That gives you hopefully a state of the market. It hopefully gives you a feel for what's going on. We're seeing bidding wars on different parts of the market. We're seeing some softening in terms of not every home is flying off the market. But if we go through those average days on market, we have 4 in Ada County. We have 5 in Eagle. Did I have any days on market stats on the other stuff? No. So, we have, you could argue either way, but what I'm seeing is there is just a ton of difference in market segments that we're looking at. And so when we have people ask, how's the market? Again, I touched on this earlier. When we have people ask, how's the market? They are asking for their market segment. We just have to figure out what that market segment means for each individual. So if that's you, if you want to talk about the market, we want to talk about different stats. I've got different charts. I've got different things I can send you. I've got these notes. I've got every week I get a awesomest stats in the world. They're really cool. It talks about, it actually dives into a lot of data. And we've seen a peak in the July area. Basically, I've talked about this a lot, July, and then it's gone down. So we're about flattening this down after it's flattened out. So the last 6 months, we're pretty flat. We've seen some bidding wars that jump the prices up. We had Sean talk about, are people covering the appraisal gap? Yes, a lot of them are. Let's touch on that real quick. When people make offers and they're way over asking, what you'll have is people bringing extra cash to cover that gap between what the appraised value is and what their agreed purchase and sell price is. So if I offer on a home that is listed at $500,000 and that will appraise at $500,000, but I offer $700,000, the appraiser in my experience, will do all he can to get to 700. Let's say he can't, so he praises it at 520, and that's the data supports with where the market's trending. That means I need to get my loan for, let's say I was going to put 20% down. I can, if I was still want to put 20% down, I'd put that, I'd put 20% at the 700 down. And then I would also have to bring in that gap to cover up to 700. So the bank is only going to lend on 520. That's the only thing they'll do. So, which makes sense, right? The bank has the appraiser go in there to watch their back. The appraiser says, I want to make sure I support supply and demand if it's possible. If not, they're there to make sure the bank doesn't overextend themselves and we hit ourselves a real estate market crash. So, all right, I think that closes everything up. Guys, it was 40 minutes of just pure fun and bliss. I hope you guys had your drinks of water as well. A request for Emmett. Yes. Emmett's a hard one. I hardly go out there. Good little city, good little town. There's some good new developments, good new developments out there. When you guys come to town and we get out there, there definitely is a need for Emmett. So, all right. If you guys don't have anything else, we'll wrap this guy up. We'll see you guys on the next third Tuesday of the month, which let me get my calendar out just before we end here. The next time we have a third Tuesday is May 16th. We'll see you guys at May 17th, 7 p.m. Mountain, 6 p.m. Pacific. And who knows what that is in Philippines, as Bob from Hope Hills Ministry is over there. And for all of you guys who chimed in, even Sean, that would be the same time, right? 7 Mountain. Guys, hit me up on the emails, the texts, the calls. If you have any questions, even if you're not sure or just want to just bounce a few things off, please. It's what I do. There's no waste of time. There's no bad question. Just stupid questions, right? Just kidding. No bad questions, no stupid questions. We'll help you out, and drop me a note, and we'll see you next time. Connie, good to see you too. Just even though it's a comment, we'll see you.